4th, 12th, 2017. Foreigner, terrorist, somebody who's not born in Canada, whose intent to move to this country and harm somebody and mislead the Canadian government in their accusation of a visa to enter this country, to obey by the laws of Canada, the human rights of the law, and the Charter of Human Rights of Canada, to violate a human being's life, to become a common nuisance, and have in their heads misleaded thoughts to harm the people here and the structure of society, at home or abroad. Or your parents were landed immigrants here, and you were an infant when you got here, or within 5 years, and you brought harm to Canadian citizens or the structure of this society, meaning you're a terrorist and a criminal of this society, assaulting and invading this country. You are not a Canadian citizen if you're always thinking harmful, ignorant things that all Canadians are trying to assault you. It means reverse psychiatry. You're trying to assault us with your ignorance, trying to change our culture, our ways, and we don't do that in your country. We haven't walked up to you, slapped you in your face in your country, sprayed things in your face, insinuated things, fabricated information, and spread false news and accusations about you in any way. My life for 16 years has been assault, 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 assault. Union ran by an uncle that misled me and mistreated me in family violence. Mother, father, and everything else like that. Ignorance. Neglecting children of necessities of life as well. I haven't done nothing wrong. I preach the truth and the truth only. I'm being assaulted by the Canadian government, hospital systems, government agencies, and the police department. And those faculties that follow in their act to intent to harm somebody with the definition of torture and the definition of the United Nations of genocide, and psychologically damaging somebody to make them go postal and post-traumatic stress syndrome. Senses that make people freak out in their heads and panic. There's about 12 of them in the Comox Valley who live in this place called the Washington Studio. They look at you and act like you with jobs of authority, like you're mentally insane because they have this intuition and intelligence that's being passed on to us, an intel of falsehoods and ignorance, that people are mentally disabled or they're psychologically something that they're not because they're misjudged them by somebody else's falsehoods, like reading a description about life before they get there. Because the travel event says it's the worst place in the Comox Valley to come. So they have the intent that it's the worst place when they get here. But they come here to visit anyways and realize, oh, it's a pretty nice place, but there's nothing there but big box stores like it says. No high-end jobs or anything like that, but we're not here to look for a job. Yeah. Not to be able to find a job and find wages and assault on a human being. To fill out your tax forms yourself or with somebody and it says $1,000 back and being told, no, you don't get it back. That's torture. If somebody figures out that you owe them $1,000 in your taxes, it better come, or you better not have tax forms that people can't fill out and figure that out themselves, that they're supposed to get $1,000 back, that some government. 5% of government officials across the country should only be foreigners, people who are born in this country, because this is our country. We can't have government jobs in their countries. Human rights violations. We're being assaulted by genocide, just like the British said as well. We can't live by the means of $10 in any city in this country, and it's not ignorance either. My family, my dad is ignorant, my birth father, who leaves rude, ignorant comments and says everybody blames everything on anybody else. I haven't had a fair go in this society, and I have not been assaulted for over 16 years in the Comox Valley since coming here. And the Vancouver PD said, go home. I don't have a home. I live in Canada. So I came back to the Comox Valley because I figured it would be a safer, cleaner place to be. Just like the definition of human rights says for mental health or anywhere in this country. I have the right to a second opinion outside that house or outside that building or outside that country, not associated that falsehoods and false information have been passed on to another person for any type of treatments in the world, and refuse any type of treatments. Not be lied to that you have to tell them all the side effects and the causes that the harm that this drug or medication will do to you, or any type of treatment they're going to do. Genocide, to drive somebody insane, make them go postal. That's why we have post-traumatic stress syndrome in the military, police, and every government, because you, the government, has assaulted your own people and drove Canadian citizens out of their job and maybe other people just to make it look that way. To give them money in life, or maybe not. So they can't live in this society around human beings. You, the government, has caused the problem, just like alcoholism. If you didn't have alcoholism, you had prohibition in the past and didn't bring it back, we wouldn't have alcoholism today if you never brought it back. No difference in narcotics. You keep this around so police officers and doctors have jobs, and that's the only reason why. We have malnutrition and not enough people eating and getting fair wages because you want doctors to have jobs too. Another government official, assault on the people. Yeah, you could eradicate the problem, but you choose not to. UNICEF wants to help poor people. Yeah, you expect Canadians starving to help people in $1 a day, but you refuse to help North Americans first. Yeah, neglect your children, you get charged with abuse, they get taken away and put into foster care, but you can't help your own country because you're neglecting the people of a proper society. Article 25, that's neglect too, so you should be lost your job in the country as well. I put in a prison camp and eat bread and water and see how you can live life for over 16 years and starve to death. You have an unrealistic lifestyle. Yeah, parents who grew up on farms and say they had nothing but a baseball glove and a bike and do chores, or a poverty mother who lived in the city and had nothing, had to share the bathwater with their brothers and sisters and look at stupid painted pictures in attics and have nice dresses and whatnot and visit their dads and whatnot. Yeah, and have a second dad who's a stepfather and have your name changed and assaulted in his ignorance that he grew up in Hong Kong, a big concrete city. Yeah, on the streets because they live in 300 square foot houses called apartments or condos, or like this one, 15 by 15 square feet with 9 people in it, 2 parents and all siblings. And they all have to share the toilet down the hall because it's just a jail cell, because Article 25, since 1948, have been building stupid housing around the world, and the British are the ones that built the houses in Hong Kong, so they're at fault on that one too. Great world, hey? Every time you turn around, it's another Irish story of the famine, Holocaust, concentration camps, residential schools, boarding school, and everybody's being psychologically assaulted, even the gay people, by psychiatrists of electric therapy and different types of drugs to see if they could become not gay. Then you come up with Frankenstein things of taking body parts out and giving them chemicals to change them from man to woman or woman to man, then take them away because nobody can be controlled by a medication that they can't afford, just like Coke or heroin. It's an addiction. If you have no money, you can't get it. And if you only tried it once or twice, just like drinking a can of Coke, are you addicted to it or have you abused it? Don't think so. Hitting somebody once isn't abuse. That might be considered an assault or self-defense. Hitting them over and over and over and over and over and over again for 10 years and psychologically tell them they're dummy and retard is an assault and being abusive because for 10 years you didn't know how to stop. Then you kept going. That's an assault of genocide and abuse. Knowing what you're fucking doing. Because you're a powered figure, being a parent, cop, doctor, teacher, lawyer, and knew better, it's torture as well. Psychologically assaulting somebody. Knowing what you're doing ahead of time, a premeditated act, and a common nuisance. Intending to harm somebody and causing bodily harm. Another assault. Provoking and aggravating another person to lash out so you can lash back twice as hard. Getting somebody to act out and assault them or provoke them so you can assault them again. And try to call it discipline. When it's not. It's a premeditated assault on that person. Act of genocide by the United Nations. Signed in 1948 by Pakistan, being India, Africa, Britain, half of Europe, and many more countries like Britain, Canada, and the United States. Go read it yourself. Uneducated hicks violating human rights, and to retrain somebody you have to pay them. I'll take $1,000 for a minute, dollars for every fucking minute for being assaulted. It's because I can't live in this society anymore too. Just like those women just got $10 million for being sexually assaulted. I'll take $1 billion in the whole country or North America for the assault from Britain, whose rules say they run the RCMP of Canada, just like they did to the Métis, assaulted them for having broomsticks and no guns at all, and made up the whole story with Gatling guns and 308s over excessive force in a small group of farmers trying to start out a new village because they didn't want to go to the local city and start up in what was already their cesspool of control. And all those other things they started up with all those ethnic groups all across the prairies for new villages, the Ukrainians, the Jewish people, the Germans, the Hutterites, and so forth, that are extinct today, pretty much all their villages. Redemption? I think there's a lot of redemption in the harm the Canadian government and the RCMP have done to the people of this country. And I have had enough of your fucking shit with your actors, your sprays, and your maces, and my family violence that you've assaulted me. I haven't punched you in the face with open fist, slapped you, open-handed you, or kicked you in the face while sleeping on the ground, or standing in there, or spit in your face first. You're the one who assaulted somebody in family violence, mothers, I should say, and little brothers who follow mother's fucking rule of control. You know, the great commander, mother, father. Like they say, if you can't live like that, don't expect anybody else to do it either. Those are the rules of the military.